Good morning, YouTubers. It's a beautiful blue sky day today. I got a bit of a cold, got a bit of a cough. But apart from that, everything seems to be going quite well. We're still relatively quiet on the job front. I'm not doing the dolphins. We do private charters only this time of year. Now, getting on to this film title, it's called Rogue Royals and Why They Have to Go. And it's really important, actually, because I've been looking at it, and it's all down to spies, really. You know, when we think about spies, you think of people like James Bond. He's the most famous spy, isn't he? But I don't think it's really like that. I don't know, because I've never been a spy. I've probably been spied on. But there's two kinds of people that run countries, okay? And they have spies, okay, spying on people because they want to secure their position in control, and people will want to take over. You've got tyrants, of course, like Saddam Hussein, for example, and he was a tyrant, and he ruled the people with fear. Okay, there's other tyrants around. Gaddafi, Idi Amin spring to mind. Adolf was a big famous tyrant, wasn't he? Who seized power and then had all his top people executed, you know, and people lived in fear of him. And it's all down to the security services. Now, tyrants rule with fear, whereas monarchies want to be loved, okay? They want the people to love them. It's very important, okay? That's why, if you ever watched The Crown or any dramas about the royal family, they've always got the newspapers out in the morning, because I know it's Victorian technology and at best it was yesterday's news, but that was what all they had at the time. We've got internet now, you can get the news straight away, you can see things live. But back in the day, they were obsessed with the news, and they were getting all the papers and what's in the papers, and they're all trying to get editors of newspapers on their side so that they are on their side a bit. But it's very important. The crown, the monarchy, they have to be, they like to be loved, and it works pretty much in the British royal family. The Queen was very popular. Lots of people liked it. They have big events. They hold events throughout the year, and they go out shaking hands with people and cutting ribbons and doing all that. Now, you might say, well, that's not a job, is it? You know, if you've been building a wall, you're a bricklayer, or you've been carrying some mixing cement and bricks, or you've been a lorry driver and you're delivering, so you're thinking, that's not work, is it? Getting chauffeur driven in a Rolls Royce and getting out and cutting some ribbons and shaking hands and smiling with people, that's not work. What it is, it's just a different kind of work. And it's very important that the royal family are seen in a light that the people respect them. You know, you can't have some horrible, obnoxious royal coming on being rude to people, for example, because that would go down like a bucket of snot, wouldn't it? Not good at all. So it's very important that the royal family are loved by the people and respected. And members of the royal family that go against that, they're going to bring themselves on top, aren't they? And that's going to be frowned upon. Now, whether you're a tyrant or whether you're a king, right, you've got spies. And spies are nothing new. Everyone's had spies since the beginning of time, right? Any leader will have spies spying on his enemies. It's who's plotting up against him, trying to take over, like Saddam Hussein, of course, that sort of thing. But in the UK, we've got the intelligence service. We've all seen the James Bond films, very glamorous, and Aston Martins and bow ties and casinos and women and lots of booze and guns and stuff. I don't think it's actually like that, because a spy, in my book, would be someone who goes unnoticed, like a tramp in a doorway. No one notices him. Don't pay any attention to him. But he could be there. He could be working for MI6, and he could be clocking something, and that's his job, is to be unnoticed. And that's far more than some guy with a bow tie and an Aston Martin sitting outside with binoculars looking at you. And you think, oh, look at him, he's on top. But you've got two. The security services are divided into two halves. One is looking at external threats from other countries. Like they've got upset because someone got arrested and executed in Iran for spying. So he's a spy, we're going to execute him, and it probably worked for MI6, but MI6 would obviously deny that he was a spy. He was not working for us, we don't know him, nothing to do with us. And then they're like, as soon as he executes him. And Margaret Thatcher, she was another one. She had one in Iran, in Saddam Hussein's Iran, caught spying. You can have him back in a coffin. There you go, wallop. And they go, and he's not a spy, he's a journalist. They always say he's a journalist, don't they? They never say he's... You wouldn't expect MI6 to own up and say, yeah, all right, yeah, he's one of our spies. Because they won't, will they? They won't. Nobody will ever admit it. So you've got MI6, and they're in other countries spying on people, on stuff that spies spy on, right? That could potentially be a threat to the United Kingdom and to the British Crown. And then you've got MI5, which is based inside Britain. It's looking at people inside Britain who could be a threat to the British Crown from inside. Now, when Adolf got into the Nazi party, he was actually employed as an intelligence person, a spy, to go into the political group and listen to what they were saying about the German government, and then he had to report back, and he actually jumped up and joined in and carried on with and he became the leader of the party. But he was a spy. That's the point I'm making. There's spies everywhere. And they're all reporting back to their boss, okay? And the boss reports to the king himself. Now, Charlie up there, he's the king now. Now, whether he's popular or not, he wants to be popular. That's the thing. He needs to be popular. The last thing he needs is a couple of rogue royals going round slagging him off, diminishing his popularity, because that's not good. Because we've seen in Europe, there used to be a king in every country in Europe at one time. And we've seen monarchies gotten rid of, for want of a better word, over the years. Now, monarchies, if they're particularly horrible and particularly unpopular, people will get rid of them. It happened in the UK. It happened in James II's reign. Got rid of him, James Stewart. He was so unpopular that they plotted up. Traitors plotted up, right? And brought another relative, Mary, and her husband, William, from Netherlands or something like that. They came with a big army and threw him out. He ran off. So it's very important that monarchies stay relevant and stay popular. It's so important. Last thing you want is highlighting other members of the royal family who become involved in not popular activities, should we say. That's so totally frowned upon. Just take a low profile, disappear, goodbye. And this is how it works. This is how it works out. Now, I know they get upset that their spies get shot, but you know the British have done it. If you go to the Tower of London, there's a chair full of bullet holes, and they executed the German spy in the First World War, and the chair that they tied him to is still there. It's an exhibit. I've actually seen it with my own eyes where they shot him. I don't know who he was or what he was spying on, but there was Martha Harry. Remember Martha Harry? She was an exotic dancer. Accused her of spying and shot her. Again, that was First World War sort of period. But I mean, these people will never admit that they bump people off. Of course they won't. Who would? But I'm sure it goes on. You know, it's not like Bond and things. So yeah, rogue royals. So here we are with a monarchy that's desperate to be liked, and now Charlie has got a few skeletons in his closet. You know, with the Diana stuff, and Camilla wasn't that popular at one time. Their popularity is gaining, but this is why they say she's the queen consort. I mean, every queen has been the queen consort of the monarch, every one of them. going right the way back. I mean, the Queen Mother was Queen Consort Alexandra, and all of them. They never call the Queen Consort, okay? If she's the king's wife, she's the queen. That's how it works. It doesn't work the other way around. Queen Victoria's husband was never the king, okay? And neither was Prince Philip. But the other way. So there they are, treading a delicate eggshells, trying to be popular again. There's a lot of people who don't like Camilla. But she's there now, she's there. So I'm not going to criticise them, because I criticised David, Edward the Eighth, because he fell out with the government. He wouldn't let him get married to Wallis Simpson, and they felt it would be deeply unpopular. And I said he should have grown a spine and said, right, I'm going to be crowned king, and just been crowned king, and just got on with it, and had Wallis there. And I'd take a, if it was me, if I was Edward the Eighth, I'd take Wallis everywhere with me as king of England, and I'd say, this is my wife. I call her the Queen, unofficial Queen, because I'm not allowed to marry her apparently. And I'd just make a joke of it, and I'd just go around, and until they got sick of it, and just said, and I'd go around being, because he was dead popular, you know, Edward the Eighth. Everybody liked him, but he felt he had to toss his crown in, and they got rid of him. They sent him away. They didn't want him anywhere near, because they thought he'd bring shame and bring the royal family down, and so they didn't want him anywhere near. Go bye. Didn't have the internet in those days, but they've got it now. So you've got young Harry and his American wife, and they're kicking off and doing stupid things, bringing the royal family into disrepute, which won't go down well in royal circles. Not because they don't like them or they don't care about them, but because they don't want the monarchy to be put in a bad light. You know, you got drunken members of the royal family dressing as Nazis. You know, that's not going to go down well at all. You know, you don't want the popularity of the monarchy to descend into the point where people say, oh, let's get rid of them, I'm sick of them, let's have a republic. And then you get political movements jumping up, going, let's get rid of the monarchy. That's what they don't want. They don't want that. So it's very important that Harry and Meghan just go away and be quiet. Shut it. Zip. As far as the British are concerned, last thing they want is him coming to the coronation and getting booed, and then bringing the royal family down, and coming out with more bullshit. Because what can he possibly do now? He's sold his book, right? And the only reason people have bought it is not because they like him or her. It's because they're interested in hearing what he's got to say. And we're digging a bit of dirt, you know, because people like a bit of gossip, don't they? And the royals are always tight-lipped. They never say anything about other members of the royal family, until this one, who spewed his ring everywhere, telling everyone about everything. The only thing he can do now as a follow-up, because he's got no talent, he can't get a job anywhere doing anything. The only thing he can do now is bring out another book and spew more dirt on the royal family. So they've got to go. They've got to go. They've got to, somehow, they've got to pay him off and shut him up and send him away. And that's the end of them. But they won't go quietly, will they? That's the problem. And I don't think Harry is a helicopter pilot. He might have passed the course when he was there. But he said in his book, he's on the magic mushrooms and the drugs and the cocktail of drinking drugs. And you've got to pass the medical to be a helicopter pilot. Your pilot's license is only valid while your medical's valid. And if you haven't got a medical, it's no longer valid. It doesn't mean you're not a pilot. You can still fly, but you can't fly as pilot in command. You have to have someone else be pilot in command, and you can just go along with them. But no, anyone who takes drink and drugs and hallucinogenics is not going to pass a pilot's license medical, are they? I don't think. So he can't even do that. Can't do anything. How much money does he need? How much money has he got? You know, if you said to me, Graham, here's a couple of million, shut up and disappear, Yeah, no problem. I'd probably do it for less. And I'd close my channel down and you'd never hear from me again. And I'd live happily ever after. But not him. Some people say he's got, I don't know, 100 million. I don't know how much he's got. He hasn't confided in me. But how much money does someone need? And it's obviously not about the money, is it? For him, it's something else. It's something else going on in his head. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. I mean, if he wanted fame and people to like him and love him, he's not going the right way about it, is he? Food for thought. So, there we go. Thanks for watching.